Zidon Danny, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Electro Ninja's Lab. In today's video, we are actually going to be talking about Kingdom Hearts Dark Road, which is the new addition that is going to be added to Union Cross within the next while. Unfortunately, we don't have any exact information on when it's going to be releasing. However, we recently received some new information about the new characters. Unfortunately, not much has been introduced about them except for what they look like as well as their names. Now, I'm actually going to be talking about some very odd theories that honestly won't make that much sense to you guys, or really even to me. So, yeah, we'll just have to wait and see exactly what happens. But let's get into these characters. The first which is Biragi, who there are theories going about that are honestly kind of frightening, making Biragi out to be Braig or Zigbar, aka the person that Lushu took over, or that Lushu just made a new body for himself and put his soul into it immediately. Honestly, I'm not 100% certain on what the case is, but that is a theory that some people have made. However, I am not in the same boat. I'm actually thinking that Biragi is more than likely actually Sora's grandfather or father. Now, I know that sounds odd. It sounds odd to me, even. But if you think about it, there are certain traits that he does share with Sora. On top of the fact that currently, Sora, of the three, Sora and Riku are the only ones who haven't actually gotten any real family members. And the way that it's currently looking, Kairi's grandmother is also Xehanort's sister. And while that may not ever get confirmed, it does feel like it's currently going that direction. So I kind of have the feeling that two of these kids may actually be more connected to Sora and Riku than we thought. And one of them might also be connected to Kairi. Now, of course, I want to make this clear again. These are their grandparents, not their actual parents. Mostly because of the fact that this entire group is older, and they and the ones that we actually do know we've seen are way older. And if my theories are correct about the other two that I also feel we've seen, then yeah, they're older. So let's move on to the next character, whose name is Armand. Armand is kind of an interesting character. If you will notice, he kind of looks very similar to Ericus and Xehanort, with a very similar outfit. This has actually been talked about by HMK, but he didn't really go too much into depth with this. But I actually have a theory that Armand may actually be Yen Sid. Now, I know that it sounds weird. Yen Sid is old and all this stuff, and that he doesn't. His name's not Armand, but in actuality, it is a reasonable assumption that Armand may actually be Yen Sid, and that he changed his name to keep himself safe from something. Whatever that something is unclear, but the fact of the matter is that both Yen Sid and Ericus both stated that they were friends. They were old friends, specifically, meaning that they most likely all trained under the same teacher. And since both Ericus and Xehanort are going to be future masters, it is a reasonable assumption that Armand is Master Yen Sid, as he is the only other master that has ever been stated in that generation. Everyone else in that generation, no one really knows about. The only character of this generation that we've actually seen being, of course, Kairi's grandmother, which we'll get to in a little bit. But that's for later. But yeah, that is who I think that Armand is. Next up is Uld. Erd. Not Uld. Why did I say Uld? Erd. Erd is kind of an interesting character as well. She clearly has some features that are similar to Xehanort, and some people will actually state that she looks very similar to Skuld. However, I'm honestly uncertain if that's actually the case. But something that I do have to say is that Erd may actually be Riku's grandmother. Currently, there have only been a few characters with white hair, these being Xehanort, Ephemer, and now Erd, aside from obviously Riku. And since we now know that three of these characters, that all three of these characters have always had white hair, that does lead me to believe that Erd could actually have some connection to Riku. And honestly, I would actually guess that that Erd is Riku's grandmother. And if she is a very powerful Keyblade wielder, that would actually make a lot of sense, since Riku, being as powerful as he is, simply makes sense. And if she does happen to have some darkness within her, it also makes sense because of the fact that both Terra and Riku both had a bit of darkness within them. So, honestly, I would not be surprised if Erd does end up being Riku's grandmother. And finally, the favorite character, Vor. Vor is the most interesting of these characters. As, well, she's short. But on top of that, she's also standing right next to Xehanort. And I do mean right next. If you look closely, you'll actually notice that Ericus is actually behind the chair, while Vor is literally right next to Xehanort, literally only behind his elbow. And since he's got his arms forward a bit, that means that she is literally right next to him. Which, yeah, Xehanort and Vor are oddly close. And it's even weirder because of the fact that Ericus and Xehanort are best friends. So, why exactly would Vor be so close to him? Well, she could be his sister, which is even bigger of importance, as Kairi's grandmother, as I've stated in multiple theories, is likely Xehanort's sister. So, yeah. On top of the fact that she also has blue eyes, and she has a bit more brownish hair, which does actually link her to Kairi. Now, obviously, there are certain problems with this. First off, Kairi's grandmother did clearly used to have darker hair, which, honestly, I could still see her hair darkening a bit more, especially if she's very young. We don't actually know any of their exact ages, and it's possible that because of the fact that she didn't actually pass her Keyblade mastership or whatever, she actually aged a bit. She looks like she aged a bit more. I don't know. There's a few things that can actually make you age faster, so yeah. And the fact that her hair would have gotten darker as she grew up really makes a lot of sense. If you guys don't know, I used to have actually pretty light hair, but now it's getting pretty close to black. But yeah, that is actually an interesting point. So I actually would believe that Vor is Kyrie's grandmother and Erica, or not Ericus, Xehanort's sister. Honestly, it's really exciting to see what is going to happen, and unfortunately, I can't say for sure any of my theories. But I do want to bring up one last point before I conclude this video, and that is another possible theory for Biragi. There is another theory that I do have in my mind, and that is that Biragi could be Demyx. But due to the fact that the whole the whole group, the whole organization 13, has always had their names just scrambled with an added X, does lead me to believe that Demyx probably was actually still named with something that has EDMI somewhere in there. And unfortunately, we just don't know what it is. But yeah, I don't think that Demyx is Biragi, but it's a possible theory. But why exactly do I have these theories? Well, for starters, as I said when I was talking about Armand, there really aren't that many characters that we can point to. The only characters of this generation are Xehanort, Ericus, Yen Sid, and Kyrie's grandmother. Everyone else is not known at all. So the fact that there are these extra 4 kids honestly leads me to wonder what's going to be happening. There is also the fact that all of these kids would actually know, because they're training under Lushu, about the whole Keyblade War. They were likely taught about it, with Xehanort finding the most interest in it, while everyone else would at least know about it. Which, again, all of the characters of this generation do know about the Keyblade War. My theory is actually that many of these kids outside of under Lushu probably would be not told about the Keyblade War, as it's dangerous to let people know. In all of the other worlds, Disney and Final Fantasy alike, no one knows about the Keyblade War at all. It's literally just the Masters, the top 3 Masters, as well as, for some reason, Kyrie's grandmother. So that does, like I said, lead me to believe that these 4 kids are the big ones, and they are going to be very much connected to our main cast. There is also the possibility that they could, that some of them might be actually more related to Aqua and Terra, but unfortunately we'll just have to wait and see what they decide to do with the rest of this series. Of course, I'm curious to know what you guys think. So if you have any theories about Kingdom Hearts or My Hero Academia or Miraculous, leave them down in the comments below. Also, like I said, let me know what you thought of this theory, also down in the comments below. If you are going to leave a theory, make sure to use the hashtag theory review so I can talk about it in a future video. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and ring that notification bell. But anyways, guys, I've been Electro Ninja, and I'll see you guys next time. But on!